It's always just me and you and my friend.
I know.
And that's like, you know,
That's
that's
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're sitting back so unseen.
which doesn't need to be seen.
Okay, so I've been gone 7 months. So I'm gonna start at the beginning because I think we all need a refresher. Because what has happened while I've been gone is ego has come in to pretty much everybody. And so in order for everything to work and for us to have peace inside, we have to clean ourselves out and get rid of ego. So we're going to start at the beginning, which is the Four Noble Truths. Number 1 is there is suffering. We all know there's suffering because we all do it. We all suffer somehow, in some way. Number 2, there's a cause for the suffering. Don't think it just happens, because it does not just happen. There is something that you have done to create suffering inside of yourself. It doesn't happen from something outside, which we want to blame it on something that's outside of us. We want to say, oh, this person said that and it did this to me, and so now I'm, angry, I'm hurt, I'm upset, I'm whatever. We go through this inside of ourselves, which is a total lie. We're lying to ourselves when we do this. Number 3, there's a way to end the suffering. That's the good news. That's beautiful news. We didn't know that, right? We just went through our entire life suffering and didn't know we didn't have to. But the good news is we don't have to, right? And if we do these steps, the suffering, number 4, the suffering ends. It stops. But you have to keep doing what you're supposed to do. They're all laughing because they all stop doing it. Like they feel better, then they stop doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then they start suffering again. All right, so the suffering, there's something called the Eightfold Path. And I'm going to read it from my phone because I want to make sure that we have it correctly. Give me just a second.
I had it in my purse all week.
Me too. I have it in my bag in the car.
I was like, oh, are they going to pull it out?
I have it in the car.
I don't know if I took it out.
Okay, here we go. The right view. The right speech. The right action. What is the right action again?
Stopping.
Speaking the truth. Such a dumb.
Truth.
Such a dumb. The right livelihood. The right effort. The right thought. And let's see. I want to use words that everybody, if they're watching, can understand. The right concentration. So the right thought, right speech, right action, right understanding, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Okay? This is how we stop the suffering. These things got nothing to do with religion. So if you think it does, stop thinking that, because that's not true. It has to do with what you're doing in your mind, your speech, your thoughts, your action, what you do for an occupation, or what you do when you're not at work, right? Everything there's a reaction. Every action has a reaction, right? Everything. So the minute you have a thought, if you bring that thought in and you play with it a little bit and go, oh, immediately you're going to start suffering. It's not going to take long. But if you bring the right thought in, if you bring that thought of truth in. Now, let's have some scenarios. Let's take some scenarios. I was giving you one off the plane, but I really don't want to use that one when we're live because in case somebody's watching, I don't want them to get offended. Although I didn't use any names, but so let's take an experience that as you're at work. Let's take work, because work can be a trial, right? It can be a trial. No matter where you work, it can be a challenge because people come in and they're going to have moods, right? They might be in a bad mood. I know Vanessa and Scotty are at the restaurant and people come in, they may not like what they get, or they may not like the way it was served, or they may not like whatever. It doesn't matter what. Remember these words. It's not about me. Whatever their action is has nothing to do with you. It only starts having something to do with you if you bring it in and you say, oh, that's about me. Then you're going to suffer. And you're going to suffer over something that has nothing to do with you. It's not about you. So if you can remember this and just in your mind, just say to yourself, oh, that's not about me.
But the ego loves to say,
Yes.
it's about, but
Sure.
But it's you personally.
Yes, it does. It absolutely 100% does. And that's why we are trying to get rid of the ego.
At work, because you were bringing it up, they recently got rid of Wi-Fi for the clerks. So when we have no service, so none of our phones work in the building. But if you go into the public facing, there's free Wi-Fi and service, and same with upstairs. So all of us were kind of getting up in arms. We're like, why did they take away our Wi-Fi? Now we have no access out unless we physically going outside the building. And all of us are getting upset, and I was like, I guess I was like, there's nothing I can really do about it. So it is what it is. So I'm like, okay, it just means I'll spend less time on my phone. That's okay.
Right.
And it's learning to it's not a personal attack. It's not about me. It's just Wi-Fi.
Yes, and if you can remember these things, it is what it is. It's nothing more than Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
What does Wi-Fi have to do with you? Nothing.
Nothing.
Right?
I don't really know what it is.
Right.
Who does?
So we're taking things that don't mean anything, and we're creating suffering inside ourselves for no reason. It's a habit that you've gotten used to, that you have to, in order to break a habit, right, you have to do something to change it, right? You have to do something to change it. And you have to do that something continually for at least 21 days. Okay. Now, I can pretty much say that nobody in this room, with the exception of myself, has done this for 21 days straight. Because if you had, you would not suffer. It's a fact. There's no getting around that fact. It's a truth. So we're so used to letting this mind, which is your ego, control everything, that we've lost this mind. And this mind is your loving kindness to yourself. This is your loving kindness to yourself. And so as we're doing this, we're not doing this for someone else. We're not doing this for other people to see how good we are. We are doing this to have peace inside ourselves, to be at peace, to be even, Not up here, crazy happy, because when you're crazy happy, eventually you're gonna come down. But it happens, it happens because you've been suffering for so long that when you actually do these steps and you feel the relief of non-suffering, then all of a sudden you get this, woo, I feel so good, right? And then what happens is that doesn't last because, as we know, nothing lasts forever, right?
Right.
That's how suffering ends, is because it doesn't last forever. Nothing lasts forever. So you know that, and knowing that, this is Mr. Tom, knowing that I'm in class. But it's okay because he wants to be part of it. Right? He wants to be part of it. See, he just said loving kindness. That's what he said. Picked up a bunch of noodles. So, and they don't have a day off. See, they had to go pick up noodles in Virginia Beach. That was their day off. But that's why we're here today, because these two work at the restaurant. So, I was trying to be nice and have everyone be able to come and not affect Tom and Simon, So, anyway, I'm gonna just send them a little heart so they know I'm not ignoring. All right, so yes.
So as you have the right view, the right concentration, and I might be overanalyzing because you know that I'm the
Yes.
analyst, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that I've never had that problem before, right? I find the biggest thing is I don't have loving. I think that I love myself, but I really don't, because I pick myself.
Yes.
Why did you take this personally again, Kathy? Instead of just
Yes. So we're gonna address that right now. Okay. So, and I'm gonna use myself as an example because I can, All right. I know that yesterday I was on a plane, right? From Friday all the way to yesterday morning, 23 hours, I was on a plane. And I was listening and talking and hearing all this stuff, right? And my body was not feeling well. I was very tired because I did not sleep. I wanted to sleep on the plane, but I couldn't because someone needed help, right? So I had to help them. It's what I do. So this morning, when I got up, instead of just laying around, I said to myself, okay, my body I didn't treat well yesterday. Okay. I didn't eat well. I didn't have any exercise. So today I will get up and I will walk. I walked from Tom and Simon's house to Walmart and back. Okay. It was like, I don't know, 3.5 miles, a little over 3.5 miles. And then I ate healthy. I ate some things that were good for me. I did my meditation. I enjoyed my walk, the birds singing, and I could hear, crickets and things and smelled the air, and I enjoyed that, right? So instead of saying, oh, you suck, I did what I needed to do for my body to heal, for my mind to heal, for my heart to heal. So this is a big problem for everyone straight across the board. When you start this process, you judge yourself. And it's not about judging yourself, right? You don't need to do that because everybody's on this earth trying to figure it out. That's what we're doing. We're all trying to figure it out. I got lucky that I actually started doing what was taught to me, and it worked, which is why I teach it, because it works. It's not about criticizing. It's not about feeling bad. It's about, okay, learning. This is your university. The world is your university. It teaches you every single day. If you do not do something correctly that you thought you should have done, so what? Are you dead? No, you're still alive, which means you can still do it. You understand? You don't need to pick yourself apart and criticize yourself. Just go, okay, so I sat around yesterday, but today, right now, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do what I need to do. And just do it. Because if you sit and you start criticizing, you're not doing the steps. You're just making yourself suffer more. And this is your ego. Your ego attacks you in all different ways. I mean, it comes at you and you won't even know what it is. This is how it works. Because it's a sneaky little devil, right? Literally, it does that. So when you're downing yourself, even though we think the ego is boastful, it is not. When you're downing yourself, that is your ego, because it can control you when you do not feel good about yourself. So the more you do that with yourself, you're digging a hole. But that hole can be eliminated like that. It can stop immediately. It doesn't take any time. This process, I'm uncertain why we fight it, because it happens immediately. Like as soon as you start doing it, you feel better. Immediately. It's the quickest fix I've ever had in my life. And it's free. And it's inside you. It's already there. Loving kindness is already in your heart. There's not a person in this room or on this earth that doesn't have it inside of them. They may not know it. They may just marinate their ego and keep it going and never realize the loving kindness they have in their heart. Some people never do. But it's not you guys. You guys already have a glimpse of it. And you would not be sitting here today if it were you. There are some people, I'm going to explain the lotus flower, okay? The lotus flower grows under the water. It grows down in ponds or lakes underneath the ground in the water, okay? And some lotus flowers never come up. They stay under the ground, under the water, under the ground. But they don't know anything. They don't know about above the water. They only know this underneath the ground. So that's their life and they're okay with it. Then there's some that come up out of the ground and they stay there. And they're just in the water, but they don't come up out of the water, right? That's just their life. They don't know any different. They've never been told any different. And they're not looking for anything any different. They're just there. But then there's some that come up out of the water and bloom, right? And that is you guys, just so you know. That's you guys. And you have already started the process. You've come up out of the ground. You've come up out of the ground and you're right. Like the water is here, that the break of the water is right here. And here you are. Here you are. You're almost there. You're trying. See, if you were one that, because some of you have said to me, well, maybe I'm one that just never gets it. It's not a truth. That is not a truth. If you tell yourself that, it will become that for you. But it's not true because you know you suffer. The ones that are in the ground, they don't know they're suffering. They're okay. They're just like living, playing in the mud. They're okay with that.
And we were all there. We know what it's like
Yes.
not to know that you're suffering.
Yes. But you were also searching. You were looking for something. You weren't just okay with that. You were looking. The ones that stay under the ground, they're not looking. They don't know. They're not even thinking about it. They're just there. You know. The ones that don't come above the water, they're just floating in the water. They're okay with that too. But that is not you all. You all are the ones that are blooming. You're almost there. Don't get down on yourself. So let's listen to what Master Boomie says. Such a tongue. Truth. You have to speak truth to yourself. The truth is not, I'm crap. That's not truth. The truth is, I'm a beautiful soul. My body, my mind, this mind is not who I am. This is truth. This mind is not who you are. This mind here, your heart, the loving kindness that you have inside of you, that's who you are. And when you leave this world, that is still there. Your body is gone. This thinking mind is gone. But this right here, that's still there. It's the only thing that doesn't die. It's very beautiful. All right, so we tell ourselves the truth, and then we, Satchitam, Metta, loving kindness. See, these are things that you do inside yourself. It's not, and we have to remember, it's not about anything or anyone outside of you. This is not a project that you're sharing with someone. You are doing your own self. You are bringing yourself out of suffering. You're doing it yourself. I'm here helping you. I'm here telling you, okay, this is what I did. This is what Master Boomie did. This is what this person did. We all did the same thing. And if you do it too, you can have peace. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It's so magical. It's truly magical. And I don't mean, let me change this bottle into a cup, magic. I mean, it's a magic that you have peace, that you have a continual peace, never ending. And that is so beautiful. And what happens is as you do yourself, you want to do someone else, right? You start like, oh, they need to know, right? But you're not done. You're not done. So if you start saying they need to know and you start telling them, what happens when you go into suffering and they see you? They start judging you. And then when they judge you, then you judge yourself. And you've started that cycle of suffering again. But one day, when you have continually done this and you're in peace all the time, that's the time that you share it. That's the time when you're able to teach it because you've done it yourself. But if you don't do it yourself, how can you tell somebody how to do it? You can't. I mean, you can try, but what happens? It bites you.
Mhm.
How do I know?
It's a bit too.
Yes, it has bit me. Because there was times when I didn't do it. Right, Scotty? There was times when I wasn't doing it. Scotty experienced the time when I wasn't doing it. But if you do it continually, then it's your new habit. And when you have this new habit, it doesn't go away unless you break the habit. See, it only goes away when you stop doing it. When you stop doing these things that you know stops the suffering, then you start suffering. But as long as you're doing these things, there's no suffering. So what things are they? Speaking the truth, being kind to yourself. See, and when you do these things, you're automatically start being kind to other people. It's automatic. When you're kind to yourself, you start being kind to other people. It just happens that way, right? Khanti, patience. That's what Khanti is, patience, right? You have to be patient with yourself because we want it right now. Well, it can happen right now, but you have to do these things for that to happen, right? So be patient because you've been in a habit for a long time. But don't be complacent. Don't just stay in the habit that you've been in for all this time. You have to do these things in order for it to happen. Lydia. Effort. See, this is where we all stop. We're okay with telling ourselves the truth. We're okay with loving kindness. Patience, we're starting to dwindle a little bit on that. And then the effort, straight out the window. You know, because we think it's difficult. Like we tell ourselves, oh, this is too hard, I can't do it. What is actually hard, now I'm going to go back to the truth. What is actually hard is the suffering. That's what's hard. That's what's creating all this junk inside of you. It's not these steps that you're supposed to be taking. No, it's not that. It's this junk that you keep putting in. It's the fact that you don't do your efforts, right? You don't do it. And then when you don't do it, you suffer. And I know it. I know it right away. I don't have to, I just know it. And you will know it in other people once you have started doing it on a regular basis. You'll be able to go, oh, they forgot to do the practice because they're in suffering. But the good news is, right away, you can start doing your practice and stop suffering right now. Like this instant, you don't have to wait for anything. There's no reason to wait. Is there a reason to wait to do it? No, there's no reason. Because you don't have to get up and go somewhere. You don't have to, this is the beauty of it. Like it's right here inside of you. All you have to do is tell yourself the truth, right? Be kind, be patient, give the effort. And what happens is upekkha, balance, equanimity. You're not up here and down here, up here and down here, because you're doing your practice all the time. And you are here in this peaceful, blissful place of no non-suffering. It's beautiful, but you have to actually do these things. And when I say tell the truth, I don't mean start talking to other people and telling the truth to other people, because that is not about you. You're working on you. Doesn't matter what anybody else says or thinks. Doesn't matter. You are working on you. So the truth has to come from you, inside you. From here to here. From here to here. Here to here. Here to here. Back and forth. Right? Truth, truth, truth. What's the truth? What is the truth?
Right here, right now.
Right. This moment in time is the only truth there is. There's no other truth. What's another truth? Yesterday? Yesterday's gone. It will never return again. 5 minutes ago is gone. It will never return again. 2 seconds ago is gone. We can't get that back. It's already gone. Let it go. Don't think about it. Don't marinate it. Don't do anything with it. There's nothing to do with it. You've already done what you needed to do with it. It's already done. You're finished with that.
So our regrets are our egos trying to
Yes.
tell us, to
Yes.
bring us down.
Yes. Because what are you going to do? Anything that happened before this present moment, what are you going to do about it? You can do nothing about it. Nothing. It's already finished. It's already done. It's gone. You can't do anything about it. Absolutely zero. Your future. Sometimes we suffer hard about the future. Oh, what am I going to do? Oh, do I have enough money to get through? We just talk junk to ourselves, right? We do. And we create anxiety, we create anger, we create frustration. We are doing that to ourselves. Make no mistake about it. It's not somebody else doing it to you. You can't blame somebody else, because anything they say to you can only affect you if you bring it in and you think about it and you take it and you go, oh, well, they said this, and then, well, that's not right. And then your ego. That's what happens every time. But you can just be like, oh, okay. That's not about me. If somebody is speaking unkindly to you, it's really not about you. And we think it is, but it's not. They got something going on inside of them. And it's not about you. They may direct it towards you, but it can only harm you if you say, okay, I want that. Let me bring it in, and I'm going to marinate it inside of me and make myself feel bad about it. You don't speak that, but that's actually what you're doing. That is the truth about what happens. It has nothing, anything anybody says cannot affect you unless you allow it. Unless you have a thought, oh, they said that about me. See? That's the thought you have. Oh, they said that about me. They're talking about me. Why are they doing that? Tom wants to be here. Just so you know. Tom wants to be here. So he's saying, all your students try to be loving and kind. Have loving and kindness. So he's sending you, see, loving kindness. That's what he's doing. Even though he's not here, he's throwing it over here, right? That's nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's on the road. They had to go all the way to Virginia Beach today, but he's thinking about this class right here and sending everybody loving kindness. That's beautiful, right? This is how it works. If we do these things inside of ourselves, then we stop thinking about ourselves. That's how the ego goes. See, it starts to go because instead of thinking about me and mine and I and what they're doing to me, you start thinking, well, how can I serve? How can I help this person? You start thinking that. But you first have to think it for yourself. You can't skip that step. It doesn't work. Like every step that I give you, you cannot skip one. You have to do them all. You can't do half of them because it doesn't work like that. The only way it works is if you do them all. Every one of them you have to do. And it's not hard, but we tell ourselves it's harder to suffer. I mean, really, when we're suffering, we're miserable, we're hateful, right? Most of the time we're angry about something, we're sad. These are hard. That's hard. The easy thing is this stuff. That's easy. But in our mind, our ego is saying, oh, that's too hard. You can't do that. How do you do it? It tries to confuse you. You know how to do it. Be kind. You know how to be kind. Everybody in this room knows how to be kind. But you've forgotten how to be kind to yourself. That's the problem. But it's an easy fix. And it can happen immediately. But you have to do it. You have to flip your script. Whatever you're saying to yourself, you have to speak truth. You have to go, uh-oh, that's not a truth. You have to be brutally honest with yourself. And I don't mean brutally honest, picking yourself apart. That's not what I'm talking about. That is your ego trying to make you feel bad. I'm talking about kindness to yourself. Speaking truth to yourself. Like when you have these thoughts of, oh, they said this to me. Then you say, no, they said that because they're in suffering. That's got nothing to do with me. I know who I am. I know what I am. Right? And even if you think you're not good enough, that's not a truth. This is a lie you've been telling yourself for a very, very long time. And those lies are what has created your suffering. But immediately when you start saying, okay, that's not true. I mean, and you have to really look at it. You have to really be honest with yourself. So let's take a scenario, and I'm trying to think of one where you're in a situation. I'm gonna use the plane because it's a good one. There's two people, right? I'm sitting in the middle. The stewardess, the gentleman over here, his wife is here, he's here. And he's upset about his tray table being slanted. Nobody else saw it, but he felt like it was slanted. Okay? His chicken was hard. At least he said that. I didn't have chicken, so I don't know. Right? But he got angry about this. Truly angry. Why? It wasn't about the chicken or the tray table. It had nothing to do with that, really. He was tired. He's an older gentleman. I'm sure he was at least 70. Probably older than that, but I'm sure he was 70. And He'd been up for a long, was tired, and he had an ego that was way out of control because he was a doctor. And doctors have egos. So here he is, and he is venting. And we have a stewardess who is also not having a very good day. Okay? And has an ego. Because she made sure to tell us she was in charge of this cabin. I'm in charge of the cabin, she said. And he says, well, you should do this. And, well, what do you want me to? And they're like yelling at each other. We're in a plane. The whole plane is listening to this banter back and forth. He's angry, she's angry. They both have egos that are up here, right? There's an easy fix, and I sat there for a while and let them go, but he came across with his finger doing this, and she's like, get your finger out of my face. And I'm like, okay, there needs to be something to calm the situation. So I touched her arm and I said, it's okay. Like that. And she smiled and went on her way. I didn't say anything other than it's okay and smile to her. What I did was I gave her loving kindness. See, because I had that inside of me. My ego was not here. I was in loving kindness. If my ego was here, I would have got in the middle of it. But I did not. I sat back. I let them go until it was getting, almost physical. And then I just gave some loving kindness to her so that she could go. Right? And then he starts talking to me. And what he wanted to know is how to control his anger. So I started telling him, right? But here's the thing. What he was saying to her really had nothing to do with her. He was talking about his tray and his chicken. What does that have to do with her? But she took it personal, right? She took it as if it was a slam to her. And so then she got upset, which then he was like, oh, I'm a doctor. She shouldn't talk to me like that. You see, these are conversations they're having in their mind. They didn't go in their heart. They went up here. And then they started talking to their self, which is what happens when you go into your ego every single time. It doesn't not happen. It happens every time. So when you start to get angry, that's my ego. Know it. Just know it. Just say to yourself, okay, that's my ego. I see it. Pay attention because it's going to sneak up on you. It does that. It's the sneaky sneakster. He comes in and it's like, oh, they're having a good day. Let me try to destroy that. That's what happens. And it sounds like, oh, that's silly. That's not. No, it is true. Believe me. It is true. It happens every single time. When you start having conversations with yourself in your own mind, and everybody does it. We have over 60,000 thoughts a day. Sometimes we don't even know what we're thinking. I can say, and I have said to almost everybody in this room, what are you thinking? And I have gotten a response as, I don't know sometimes, right? I don't know. Okay. Well, if you don't know what you're thinking, who does? And how are you bringing loving kindness in if you're letting this mind go and plant these weeds that are gonna kill your loving kindness? This is what happens in your own mind. But it doesn't have to. I'm telling you what has been going on your entire life. See, I'm telling you what has been going on, but I'm also telling you there's a fix and you can stop it today, right this second. It can be done. You can be finished. You can be finished right now today. You just have to keep doing your steps. Keep doing your steps. Being kind, being patient, being loving, speaking the truth, knowing your thoughts. Know what your thoughts are. Sati, it's called sati, mindfulness, okay? If you don't know what you're thinking, you need to stop and go, okay, my mind is going crazy. I need to bring it back into my heart. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you're sitting around and I know you do this, you're sitting around and your mind is all of a sudden, you're not even here. You're somewhere in the past or the future. Every time. And then you're like, oh, and then all of a sudden you'll go, oh, what was I thinking? You know, you'll catch yourself. Happens a lot. Happens a lot. I know. I used to do that all the time. But now I try to stay present in this moment, you know, which is why I got up this morning and I took a walk and I listened to the birds and, you know, I paid attention to the steps I was taking. I didn't think how much further do I have to go? How long is it going to take? See, that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're not in this present moment anymore. We're thinking about the future. But I took one step at a time. Didn't matter how long it took. I didn't care. Never entered my mind. You know, I'm doing I'm walking and I'm speaking, you know, I'm doing a meditation as I'm walking. I'm paying attention to where I am right here in this moment. I'm not tired. How much longer is this going to be? No, I'm like, I'm here. This is I'm at this step right here. This is a step I'm taking, which is why we do walking meditation. It's a practice. You practice to do regular life stuff. But if you never practice, how are you going to do it? How are you going to stop it? You can't. You have to practice. That's why I say you got to do your practice. This is what it means. Because otherwise, you're in la-la land, aka suffering, because it's going to take you to suffering. La-la land takes you to suffering. It takes you to I want, I don't have, I need. What do we really need? We need air, we need water, we need shelter, we need food. Nothing else. Really. That's all we really, really need. If you know this, then you can go, oh, I don't need that. Stop your wanting. Your wanting is going to create suffering, 100%. And I'm not saying don't try to better yourself. I'm not saying don't try to make money. What I'm saying is be present. And I can tell you that as soon as you start doing this and you get relief from the suffering and you do it on a regular basis, if you can do it 21 days, you've started your new habit. And it will be that continually. And if you miss, then so what? Start again. Begin again. Right? Begin again. It's okay. What's the problem? What's the big deal? There's no big deal. We make a big deal out of it. And then we suffer more. We tell ourselves, oh, you suck. Then we're suffering over sucking, right? And it's just a continual thing. But the minute you stop and you do these things, you start telling yourself the truth. Oh no, I was suffering, but I don't have to suffer. This is a truth. You don't have to suffer. So you can start changing that. And it's your thoughts. You don't have to go anywhere to change it. You can do it inside yourself, wherever you are. And it's such a beautiful thing. But you have to do it. You can't not do it and expect it to happen. Wanting. I want peace. Like when you say that, what does it do? Nothing. It doesn't give you peace. It just is a wanting, which creates suffering. But if you actually take a step and go, okay, the truth is, I don't need anything. You know, I'm here in this moment. It's a beautiful moment. I mean, this is beautiful. We're all here together. Isn't this beautiful? It's lovely. But we take our mind somewhere else. If you stay in the present moment, oh, they're beautiful moments. I didn't call anybody and go, can you go for a walk with me? No. I took that time for myself. I gave it to myself. See, everybody needs to do this for themselves. You cannot do it. If you do it for someone else, it will not work. Period. It's not going to work. You have to do it for you. Only. And in our minds, our ego, oh, well, if I do it, then they're going to think better of me. Kim will see what I'm doing. You know, no. I don't want to see what you're doing. I want you to see what you're doing. It's got nothing to do with me. Really. Honestly, it has nothing to do with me. You are doing this for you. And you have all the power to do it. It's not my power, it's yours. You know that inside yourself and take it and use it for yourself. Be kind to yourself. It's all about loving kindness, but it's about doing it for yourself first. When you miss that step, it does not work. And I'm going to tell, I work with monks all over the world. Some of them don't do it. Some of them suffer. But when they do it, and when they actually are doing it inside themselves continually, there's nothing more beautiful. People see it. That man on the airplane, he saw it in me. He told me. That's how I know he saw it in me, because he spoke it. He said, I see it in you. And I want to know what you have. He spoke that to me. He recorded me. That's how bad he wanted it. But he can only get it if he does it himself. He said, you are glowing. You glow. I see the peace in you. I want that. That's what happens. I don't do it for other people to see peace in me. I don't care what other people think. If I cared what other people thought, I wouldn't be doing this. Because none of my family believes in it, I didn't get raised this way. No, I got lucky. I moved 10 minutes from where Master Bumi was. And he taught me. He started teaching me. Little by little, he taught me. Not in English. So I had to give the effort, you see. He taught me in Pali. And he spoke to me sometimes in Thai or Lao. And I didn't understand any of it. He'd make me write down Pali words. So y'all got it easy. I speak your language. I tell you how exactly step by step. But that's not how, he didn't teach me like that. He taught me with Pally, but he also taught me by doing it himself. He taught me by giving loving kindness to himself and letting other people see it in him. You see, he's known all over the world. People from everywhere come to see him because he doesn't have ego. He's filled with loving kindness inside himself, and he just does himself. He doesn't go around trying to, get other people to do it. No, he does not. He just does himself. But in doing that, people see it. And they want to know how to do it. And they'll ask. And when they ask, he tells them. Such a tongue, that's a tongue, kinky tongue, woody tongue, Rebecca tongue. He says that. I can't tell you how many times he has said that. Millions, I'm sure. He says it all the time. Every time he speaks with someone, he speaks that. He's not kidding. He's like, look, I'm going to tell you this. You got to do it. If you don't do it, that's on you. It's not about me. And he'll say that. And now he speaks English to me, but when he was teaching me, he spoke no English to me at all. Not at all. Except for when he had me write in Pali, or write the Pali word in English and repeat it. If I got it right, he would go, yeah. But that was it. He never spoke an English word to me. I had to, I got a Pali dictionary, and I'm like, okay, sacha. And it's not spelled like you would think. So I gave the great effort. I gave the great effort because I had to do research on, okay, what does sacha mean? Because he told me, he said, you'll be teaching, you'll teach it to so many people you can't count. That's what he said to me. You will not be able to count how many people you teach this to. I was like, oh. I didn't believe him at first. He told me many things that I was like, okay, but they were all true. He never once told me something that didn't happen that wasn't true. He told me I was going to India. He told me I was going to Thailand. That was not even on my radar. But I did. I went to India. I didn't want to go to India. I didn't even think about going to India, but I went. It wasn't planned. I got a call a week before I was supposed to go to Thailand. Donna Plone said, get your visa for India. We're going to India. Oh, okay. He was right. But this is what, you don't have to go to India to do this. You don't have to go to Thailand to do this. Matter of fact, if you do this now, if you go to Thailand or India, it will be so much better for you. It will be so much better for you because then you'll be able to have an understanding of what's actually going on. Whereas if you go now, it's hard to understand. Trust me on that. It's very hard to understand. But I've done this research. I gave the effort. I know what this means, and I'm giving it to you. I'm not saying you have to figure out what such a tongue means. I'm like, okay, I want you to do such a tongue. I don't need you to go figure it out how, what it means. I'm telling you, it's truth. You can look it up. It's going to say that. is going to tell you that it's true. You can look up metta, that's loving kindness. You can look up hate. You can look them up, or you can just do it. Either way, it's up to you. It's not going to affect me. Either way you do it, doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me if you don't do it at all. That sounds mean, but I'm not trying to be mean because I'm doing me. I'm doing it inside of me. What you do is up to you. I'm willing to share everything I learned. Everything I learned, I will share with you. And I've learned a lot. I've read a lot. I've helped write books on it. So if you take it, good. If you don't, okay. It's not about me. Got nothing to do with me. I will never not help you. I will always be here, maybe not in this exact spot, but I will always be available for you. If you have a question or you want to learn something more, call me. I'm okay with that because that tells me you're giving it the effort. You're actually trying. So it's been over an hour already. Can you believe? It's hard to believe. I'm going to tell you that I went to a temple in Thailand that the author of the books that I read is at that temple. I did not see him, but that's the only place I can get the books. And they're free there, but you can only get one copy of each book that you want to get. They take your passport and they write down every book you get. And, it's a big deal because they're giving them away. And every monk that studies goes there to get their books. So I have brought back, I had 3 suitcases and they were heavy, weren't they, Vanessa? They were very heavy. And I brought back books in my suitcases. I actually had to buy 2 suitcases so that I could bring back the books because I have 3 copies of the Buddha Dhamma book, which is like this. And that's the hardest one to understand. I have read it and it does explain things, but if you haven't done yourself, you're probably not going to know what it's talking about. Okay. But I got other books that, and what I think I'll do is I'll take pictures of the covers of the books and I'll put them in the meditation group, and then you can check them out. If you want to read them, you can. And some of them are short, like 28 pages. That's a short one. You can read that, in an hour or less. And that one actually is happiness and peace, something about happiness and peace. It's a good one. And it's an easy read. So I will take pictures of the book. Yes?
They're in English?
Yes. 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 And so one side is English, one side, this side is English, this side is Thai. So, yes, you will be able to read them. And so they're on all different kinds of subjects. One's happiness, one's on reflection of death, one's on, it sounds morbid, reflection of death, but it's actually a good read. I've read that book. So every book I have read. And there's a lot of them. So you're welcome to, I'll post them. You're welcome to check them out. the reason I say check them out is because I do need to get them back, because we're gonna share them. We share them. So when you get done reading, you can bring that one back, get another one, and it will give you more of an understanding, I think. Not only that, it will help towards the effort, and they're short, they're easy reads. I would recommend getting one that is a thinner, shorter book to start with, because then it helps your heart mind start opening and understanding a little bit more. Not that you don't understand, you do understand, but it kind of gives you that, and you can see when I read them, this is what I do. When I read anything, I think about how to apply it inside myself. That's what I do. And then I take those steps. I also, when I read, I'm like, oh, this would be good to share. So sometimes I share it in the group because it's like something that somebody's going through that will help them. And I know that, not that anybody speaks it to me, I just know it. So I post it so that you guys can, oh yeah, there. That's an answer to what I was going through, you see. So I try to help you along. Maybe I help you too much, I don't know. But I try to do it because I know this journey is not easy. I've done it. I know how difficult it can be. I've gone through the hard times. Like, I tried to kill myself. That's how hard it was. I know how hard it was. But I came through it, and so can you. Don't think it's too hard that you can't do it. You can do it. Actually, once you start doing it, it's the easiest thing you've ever done in your life because it gives you peace. Then you start seeing things as they are, not as you made up in your mind. Because that's what happens. We make these things up in our mind and then we think it's true and it's not. Like, we tell ourselves horrible things about ourselves. And it's not true. We're all the same. We are not these bodies we're walking around in. We are part of just a beautiful thing, and we can't see it because we're so caught in the ego. But the truth is, every tree that is on this planet, every fish, every ant, everything we are part of, and it is part of us. It's made up of exactly the same thing we are. This is the truth. But if you don't allow your heart to open and for you to feel that, then you get stuck in this ego of misery. And there's no reason for that. What you got to say, Kathy?
So you remember my flies, right? Several years ago.
Oh,
my
yes,
flies,
I remember your flies, millions of them.
Right. So now I have this fly, a fly, and he's been with me for a year now, or at least 7 months, right? And he's this little looks just this little fly. And he's with me I know I sound crazy.
No,
right?
it's okay. I understand.
Because I had all these flies at one time and I got really angry. And she told me I had to learn to embrace my flies and love them. Okay. I can be fine and he'll buzz around and he'll come and sit on my shoulder or whatever. It's like he's freaking little fly. And I keep going, okay, how long can this little fly last? But we're going on 7 months. That's a long time. Or to say, but it's incredible. And I just see him out as my friend.
Yes.
But we're all one, so
Yes.
I can't spot my fly because that's spotting myself.
Yes.
So I just was giving you an update on my fly. I don't know.
Yes.
This was
Well,
important.
no, it is important. And it's a good example. See, who would have thought that you could be friends with a fly?
He's just like It's like most of us when we go places, there's not any times that the crows aren't there.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Mhm.
But this fly is like my little Buddha
Miniature.
that comes to take care of me. My little,
Yes. Yeah, why not? See, you've embraced the flies. Now you only have one. She
And
had
easy.
hundreds of them.
Yeah.
She was like, she came in and she was like, all you could just see it. She was all in a huff. I've got hundreds of flies in my house.
and like they came from nowhere, and like they would come. It was like the plague. I mean,
Yes, yeah.
it was definitely a learning lesson.
It
but
was testing you.
now he brings me, I guess, love.
There you go. It's true. And I know that like we're not taught this. So it's a hard concept for our minds to grasp that we are actually truly part of everything. Everything. And when we kill something, it's like killing a part of ourselves. Which is why I'm vegetarian, and the plants are living things too. The trees are living things. Yes, I eat plants, but normally when you eat a plant, you can, take a part of it. You eat an apple, you don't eat the whole tree, you eat an apple, right? But when you eat meat, when you kill, you're not taking it would be horrible if you took a portion of it, but you can't do that. So this is why I'm vegetarian. Now, that being said, I don't judge anybody for eating meat. That's up to them. See, and this is also a hard concept for us to grasp because we think if we do something, everybody needs to do it. No, they don't. They don't. You can only do you. You cannot do anybody else. You can't make anybody else do anything. You can only do you. Don't worry about other people. Don't think, oh, they're doing that and that's a bad thing. No. No, because that's not about you. And the more you think about what other people are doing, the less you're thinking about what you're doing. And that's really what you need to focus on. You need to focus on you. Get that down good. Because when you do, then you don't even care. It doesn't matter what anybody else does. The only reason you look at someone else is to see if they need help. Period. That's it. That's what happens.
Say that one again.
That needs to sink it on. The only reason you will look at someone else is if they need help, to see if they need help. Not for judgment, not to make them do something that you want them to do, just to see if they need help. That's what happens when you are in loving kindness.
Because it's almost difficult. It's almost impossible unless you are in love with yourself or
Yes.
have love with yourself to look at others without judgment.
Yes, exactly. It's a difficult thing to do unless you are filled with loving kindness. And see what happens is, Master Tong Bai said to me, there's different stages of metta. See, the first stage is bringing it in, marinating inside yourself. And then what happens is automatically it goes out, and then it goes out because you're trying to give people metta, right? But then you'll get to a point where you're not trying to give them metta. You're doing you still, you're just doing you, and you become metta. You just become loving kindness. So you're not throwing it out there or trying to give it to somebody else. You're just filled with it. So other people see it in you and they want to be that. You know, there's something so magical about loving kindness, about metta. It's like nothing you have ever experienced in your life. It's not like you fall in love with someone. That's not it. It's this just serene, peaceful caring about yourself. But yourself is also everyone else. It becomes that you're able to just see it and just be that. That's the way it works. It's magical. It can heal anything. That's the truth. It can heal anything, any situation, anything. But you cannot heal that situation. Like, understand the difference, because it's not the ego that's doing the healing. It's this peaceful, kindness that you have inside. It's automatic. You don't have to, it becomes automatic. You have to give an effort to actually see it inside yourself, because we're so used to, being mean to ourselves that we don't see it. It's there. It's never gone anywhere. It's always been with you. But you have forgotten it and you misplaced it. I'm going to put it like that. It's been misplaced. It's like when you put your car keys down, when you set them down where you set them, right? You know where you put them. But then you go into the other room and you come back and you're like, where's my car keys? I don't know what, or your phone, or it doesn't have to be your car keys, it can be anything. But we've all done it. We've all set something down and then gone into the other room, and then because we weren't in sati, we weren't in mindfulness. We weren't present when we did it. But we know we did it.
It's like when you put your hip glasses on top of your head and then you look for them for
Yes, exactly.
Because you weren't mindful when you put them on your head.
Exactly.
That's
what-
what looking for your phone.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's in your hand. Yeah.
Yes, it's happened to all of us. See, we all know. We all know. It's okay. It's okay. It's not, don't judge yourself. It's hard not to judge yourself because you've been it's a habit that you've done. But you can break this habit. I did it, anybody can do it. I mean, I'm telling you the truth. Anyone can do it. But you have to, you do have to give it the effort. You have to give it the effort. There's no getting around that, and you have to do it on a regular minute by minute basis. Just pay attention to now, this moment in time. You don't have to worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will get here. You don't have to worry about it. Just worry about right now. Am I doing it right now? Well, if I'm not, I'm gonna right this second. That's all you need to say to yourself. You don't have to criticize, oh, I'm having to start over again. No, you don't have to do that. You can just say, oh, I'm beginning right now. This is my beginning. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how many times you start over again. You understand? That doesn't make any difference, because it can happen so quickly for you if you just stay in this moment in time and you just continually give yourself loving kindness. Stop judging. Put that away. You're done with that.
So
Yes.
the Eightfold Path.
Yes.
So a situation happens, someone says to me, you need to do this or whatever, and my ego appears, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go to the mindfulness of what the truth is.
Mm-hmm.
So my mindfulness is that my ego
Yes.
thinks that I'm better than this or whatever
Yes,
the
yes.
thing it is. Then I just go back to my breath.
Okay. I'm gonna
Because
stop
my
you.
truth is where I get my power.
Yes, I understand, and that's where a lot of people get.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're like, okay, what is the truth? Because we've told ourselves so many stories, we don't know what the truth is. So I understand
Right.
exactly what you're saying. So in that moment, when someone says to you, do something that is below your pay scale, let's put it that way, or I'm not sure your situation, but maybe that's it. So we're gonna go with that. And you start to get upset because why are they telling me to do this? See, this is a conversation you're having. I don't have to do that. I shouldn't have to do that. That's not my job, right? Then you stop yourself and you're saying, well, what am I saying? What difference does it make whether it's my job or not?
See, my ego is very, very sneaky, right? So
Yes.
we've gone through this scenario over and over again. So you tell me to do this, so I understand. And basically, it's my job. I'm getting paid whether I do it or if I don't do
Yes,
it. And I say
yes.
this to myself. So I go ahead and I do it. But then I have an expectation for you, which is nothing but my ego.
Yes.
You know, that's coming
Yes.
back in there. So then you don't live up to my expectation, or it takes you 15 days to get to what you told me to do now.
Mm-hmm.
Ego is like, so how important was that to them that they wanted you to do it now? And so,
So
having
let
the
me
conversation,
ask you a question. What difference does it make?
it doesn't make a difference.
Right.
But the
And
ego
but this is what you need to say to yourself. Like I'm telling you what you need to say to yourself. Okay.
So how do I mean it in my heart? This is the problem, because I can tell myself, but it's not really. It's just freaking words I'm saying to myself.
Yes.
And then I come back later and I said, well, you just told yourself words. And so it's this internal argument
Yes. Yes.
it's the it's the
Yes.
mind, and it's over something that means nothing.
Nothing. It means nothing. It's like the man who was talking about his tray being tilted or the chicken. What difference does it make? Like we're on a plane. How are they going to get new chicken? You know what I'm saying? Okay. So this is you have to say to yourself, and you really think about it. You're an analyst. Like you can go there and go, okay, really, what's the truth in this? Like what difference does it make? I'm here, okay, so it doesn't make any difference what you do when you're at work, because you're there, you're going to be there for however many hours you're supposed to be there, and then you're going to go home. So what difference does it make what you do in that time? None, right? It really makes none. Now, I don't care if you're cleaning toilets. Now, I'm going to give you a scenario. While I was on the plane was a very good, I'm like, oh, we can use this in the class, right? So the plane had, where I was sitting, there was 3 bathrooms. There was 2 here and 1 there. It was a big plane. And one of the bathrooms, somebody had, gone to the bathroom, but it was big and it got messy. And people were like, don't go in that bathroom because it's a mess. And I'm like, well, okay, so I'll clean it. So I went to the steward and I said, his name was Peter, very nice, Irish guy. And I said, do you have rubber gloves, And he said, yes. And I said, can I have a pair? And he kind of looked at me like, what do you need rubber gloves for? And I said, the bathroom has got a little mess in it. And, I don't want you to have to clean it. See, this is like kindness.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my job to go clean that bathroom. But I was thinking of him because he's on this plane listening to people who are not happy sometimes. He's on it for as long as I'm on it. Why should I expect him to clean this mess when I'm capable of doing it? Right? I mean, this is the way this is loving kindness. See, it just automatically. So he said, oh, no, I'll do that. That's my job. And I said, I really don't want you to have to do that. And he said, no, it's okay. It's my job. I'll do it. but thank you for telling me. Because they didn't know the bathroom had, a big pile of poo that wouldn't go down the thing or whatever, They didn't know. So, and everybody else was just like, don't go in there. You see, this is the thought process. This is what happens when you don't have loving kindness in your heart. You see, you just leave it. You let somebody else take care of it. But why? Why should he have to do it and not me? It doesn't make any sense, does it? Because we're the same, him and I, you and I, all of us, we're the same. Why should he have to do it and not me? Yes.
It's funny you mentioned the bathroom because that's a pet peeve of mine. In the public bathroom when you go in there and there are like 6 stalls at a rest stop or something,
Mm-hmm.
and people won't go in there just because somebody forgot to flush.
Right.
They'll leave the doors open, people see it, and then go to the next one.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
just go use your
Yes.
feet, but flush it.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can use it.
Yes.
Because then it comes out and it's a line. And it's one stall that nobody would go in just because the person didn't.
Yes. Yes.
I'm like, I gotta
Happens
go.
all the time.
I know, it's like, I gotta go. Flush, shut
Right.
the door.
Right. There's no
sorry, I just had to
reason.
let that out.
Yes,
Like,
it's
what?
true. It's true. So this is part of the learning process. See, we have to learn to be humble. That's humble. That's humility going, they shouldn't have to do it either. I'm the one who saw it, and I actually didn't even see it. I just witnessed everybody saying, don't go in that bathroom. And I was like, well, and I had already, one time I had gone in there and people were saying, don't go in there. So I went in there and there was just a little bit that wasn't going down. So I turned the hot water and I used the cup and and it went down. I'm like, okay, good. But then evidently it was a bigger mess because when Peter went in there, he was in there for a little while and then he came out and I was like, I'm so sorry. And he goes, no, I'm not done yet. he went and got 2 pitchers of hot water. 2 pitchers to go back in the bathroom and finish, so it was really not good. But why does he have to do it and not me? You see what I'm saying? This is the way my heart is now. This is my heart, and this will become your heart. And it's really very beautiful because why not? Why not share in things that aren't so pleasant to relieve, suffering in someone else? This is, if you look at things in loving kindness, it really makes the world a lot easier. It makes people come together and really the world is at war, right? We've got wars going on everywhere because ego has taken over. That's all the war is. Like, what else is it? Someone wants to be right. And this person wants to be right, this person wants to be right. It's the plane all over again. I got one person you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the world. This is why they're fighting. Instead of just being like, okay, how can I help you? That's loving kindness. How can I help you? I don't need to make you do that. And when I'm in Thailand, they don't let me do things, because I'm teaching and they respect and feel like you shouldn't have to do that, But I'm like, no, we're all the same. We're all the same, and I try to help them in any way I can. And in return, what happens is they try to help me in any way they can. That's not why I do it, because they're already trying to help me, you see? But I do it because I want them to feel kindness. I want them to feel this kindness that I already have inside. I have it. So I want other people to feel that, to know what it is, so they can have it too. Because if everybody has it, there will be no war. You understand what I'm saying? Like if everybody lived inside themselves, just did themselves, you don't have to go around trying to do it everybody else. If you just do it yourself, just loving kindness, period. If you just do metta inside yourself all the time, your world will change. See? See what I'm saying? It automatic. It does it. Automatic. No doubt about it. So we are now at 6:45. So you guys want to do a little meditation before we go? Do you have time? Okay. And hold on. And I want to give Scotty, everybody here has gotten one of these, but Scotty's gonna get one of these. That's a stone from Master Booney. And it says, Pato Tamo Sangho Nama A'u Metta Sitame, which means, it's the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, Pato Tamo Sangho. That's what Buddha Dhamma Sangha. And really what the Buddha is inside of you. It's you. And the Sangha, the Dhamma is teaching, it's everything. And the Sangha is the group, the core, and Pato Tamo Sangho Nama A'u it's very powerful. Natma is mother and father, or the earth, or the air, or it's everything. Okay. Metta. Sitangme. So it's inside of you, it's giving you that. So that's what that stone is.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, so we're gonna sit up, take a couple deep breaths and let them out. Allow yourself just to be, okay? We're not gonna torture ourselves. We're just gonna breathe in, breathe out. Just listen to the sound of the bell. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. If your mind starts to wander, just bring it back to your breath. Follow your breath. When you breathe in, follow it down into your lungs, knowing that it's clearing and cleaning, breathing life into you. Breathing out, letting go of everything, just letting it go. And whenever your mind goes to something that's going to create anything that might bring suffering, you bring yourself to your breath. Just let your breath take you. Breathing in, going down into your lungs. Breathing out anything that is holding you back, letting it go. Breathing in the breath of life. Breathing in loving kindness. Breathing out anything that does not serve you. Allowing yourself to be in this peaceful space. Just in this moment in time. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Just allow yourself to sit in the quiet for a moment. If your mind starts to wander, just bring it to your breath. Take a deep breath in. We hear sounds, but they're just sounds. Doesn't matter. Just bring yourself to your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Metta ceto imutiya, karuna ceto imutiya, mudita ceto imutiya, ubeka ceto imutiya. Okay, breathe in, breathe out. We had all kinds of things trying to distract you. Yeah? It's okay, that's life. Like that is life.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it. It's okay. You know, when we hear a voice, it's just a voice. That's all it is. Not about you. Just let it go. This is how life is. We don't have to attach to things. We can just, that's okay. Oh, that's a voice. That's the truth. See? That's just a voice. Got nothing to do with you. Right? The more you practice, you have to practice at that. You have to practice at just speaking to yourself like that. What is that? That's just a voice. Nothing more. Was it? Was it anything else? No, it was just a voice. That's it. But our mind wants to go, it's trying to distract me. It's doing that. And then we go into this whole, no, just let it go. Okay? All right. We've been almost 2 hours. Sorry, you guys. Oh, wait. Before everyone leaves, you want to go to the restroom? Okay. I'll wait for you.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to leave the stream on?
No, you can turn it